Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Paranormal Club. It is Halloween night, and have we got a very spooky and entertaining movie special for you guys tonight. We will be doing our Hocus Pocus review Halloween extravaganza. And we hope you enjoy it, because Cameron is about to do the... before he does the intro, I'd like to share a picture of my costume that I just wore for most of the night, which hopefully is right over here, where my hand is. Cameron, hope you're taking notes. Which Cameron will be posting the picture in this video, because I technically can't re-put the costume back on because I'm badly bruised. So yeah, we'll get started on the the index and synopsis in 3, 2, 1, now!
Alright, so Hocus Pocus starts in the year 1693. I believe it's Salem, Massachusetts, which is a very famous place. Anyways, we open to Zachary Binks, a young man, seeing his younger sister, being taken away into the woods to the witch's cottage, and her soul is taken, and Zachary is turned into a cat, and the witches are hung. This is funny because this sounds like a very dark movie. This is a Disney movie, folks, and when we get to the gore score, I got a pretty full gore score. You'll definitely be interested in that. Anyways, before the witches are hung, the Sanderson sisters, there's 3 of them, their book, they read a curse from the book that basically says that when a virgin lights the black flame candle, which is a candle in their cottage, that they will be brought back to life. And 300 years from that time, which is 1993 when the movie takes place, a new kid, Max Dennison, high school student, along with the girl that he likes, Allison, and his sister, Danny, they go to the Sanderson place. They light the candle, or he lights the candle, because he doesn't believe in it. He says, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus. They name drop the title of the movie. Long story short, the witches come back. Their plan is to take the souls of all the children in the neighborhood so that they can restore their life fully and live past the night. And, of course, Max, his sister, and Allison are trying to stop the witches once and for all. Oh, and they're aided by Zachary Binks, who has not only was he turned into a cat, but he was cursed to walk the earth forever, to be immortal, essentially. And Zachary, as a cat, is one of their best allies in taking down the Sanderson sisters. That is essentially the synopsis of the film. I'll turn it back to you for,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this movie was made in 1993. It was directed by Kenny Ortega. It was produced by Stephen Haft and David Kirshner. Screenplay was done by Neil Cuthbert and Mick Garris. Story was also done by Mick Garris and David Kirshner. Music was done by John Debney, and cinematography was done by Hiro Narita. It was filmed mostly in Burbank, California, Salem, and Marblehead, Massachusetts. We have Bette Midler as Winifred Sanderson, which I have to say she's done a lot better roles. We have Kathy Najimy as Mary Sanderson. We have Sarah Jessica Parker as Sarah Sanderson. Omri Katz as Max Dennison, also known as Maximilian. We have his younger sister, Thora Birch, as Danielle Dennison. We have Vanessa Shaw as Allison Watts. Sean Murray as Zachary Banks. Jason Marsden as Katz Thackeray. We have Doug Jones as Billy Butcherson. Charlie's Rocket as David Dennison, and Stephanie Farsi as Jennifer Dennison. And that's Amanda Shepard as Emily Banks. Larry Bagby as Ernie, also known as Ice. We have Tobias Jelnick as Jay, the sad but true better part of what we were praying for to be a Jay and Silent Bob act in this movie. We also have Steve Voborel as Elijah Morris, Norbert Weiser as Mr. Banks, Kathleen Freeman as Miss Olin, Gary Marshall as the Devil, and last but not least, Penny Marshall as the Devil's wife. And on to the gore score.
All right. For a PG film, there's quite a bit of stuff here. All right. Starting from the top, we have 3 hangings, 3 witches burned alive, 4 dismembered fingers, one bowl full of toes, 1 dead child, 1 book bound in human skin, and then lastly, 1 zombie.
Right. On to the favorite scene. Because everybody knows we are going to have to do this a little differently. Because there was only 1 kill. Cute moment between Zachary Banks and Danny. Just that so cute moment as they're laying together in bed. And she's just petting him and you just hear him purr. It's just so adorable. I mean, God. I didn't think... I mean, you'll obviously hear my worst scene in this movie, but I just had to give it to this. I mean, there were a lot of funny scenes, but this one was just the best.
Yeah, I like the build-up to that scene, too, when I think they're in the park, and they're celebrating after they burn the witches, thinking that the horror is over, and Danny's all like, you're going to come home with us, Zachary, and I'll fill, all these plans. Like, she made all these plans for him to be the family pet and everything. It's nice and adorable, but it's like, there's a human soul in there, so, anyways, it is a good scene. The relationship between Danny and Zachary is definitely priceless. Favorite scene is a little tough because I like the whole movie. But he's not in it that much, but I'll always remember from when I was a little kid to now when Bill Butcherson the zombie, all of his scenes, all of his moments, I always really liked. I just thought that the makeup effects, everything. What a great zombie! Even within a Disney film, what an awesome zombie. But if I had to do like most memorable scene, it's obviously Gary and Penny Marshall as the devil and his wife, bringing in the Sanderson sisters. It's a great comedic moment. So there's a lot of great moments. I mean, I could go on and list a series of scenes that I really really liked. But I'll just do two highlights. Yes, Billy Butcherson as the zombie, played by Doug Jones, very famous actor. He played Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies with Ron Perlman. I believe he played the fish monster in The Shape of Water, which won an Academy Award. Doug Jones, has a history of playing characters where you can't recognize him. But anyways, he did a great job, and the scene with Gary and Penny Marshall is a great comedic scene. So,
on to worst scene.
Worst.
Honestly, I have to say it has to be Winifred sings "I Put a Spell on You." I am sorry, guys. I know there's going to be so many comments, hopefully, about how I just don't like this scene. I mean, yeah, I get it's nostalgic, but just her voice, it's just, ugh. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Seriously, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. But honestly, if don't. But if I could have put, I wish I could have put every moment with the Sanderson sisters in it, but no, this is the one that I chose. What about you?
This is kind of personal. I'm just saying, I love the movie. Like, there's not a scene that I don't like, but I'm going to put something as a worst scene, and then I'll explain it. It's when, I have two worst scenes. Is when, in the prologue, when Zachary Binks is the cat, and you hear him meowing I think it's to his father, and his father kicks him away like, get away from me, beast. It's so horrifyingly sad. And then when Danny realizes that Zachary has died, and you see the dead body of the cat, and I mean, they're great scenes. They're very. I mean, there's an importance to the story in having those scenes, but they're so sad, and it just reminds me. A couple of years ago, I lost a cat, and so I cried when I watched this last night. I was crying because it just reminded me of my cat that I had. Her name was Turtle, and when she passed away and everything like that. So, but yeah, I love every scene in the movie. But I hate that those facts. I hate that those scenes have such an emotional pull on me, that they manipulated me in such a way.
And another category, our final category, is favorite character, which I'm going to have to pick two for this one. It would have to be Billy Butcherson and Zachary Binks. I mean, they were just so badass, especially Billy. Just, oh my god, as soon as his mouth is unsewed, it's just like, is that allowed in a Disney movie?
Yes. I'm surprised. I mean, if this movie were made today, first off, there would be so many changes that it wouldn't be the same movie. But there's a lot of, like, a lot of implied violence, a lot of like sex jokes. Like, dude, I didn't catch this when I was a kid, but when the Sanderson sisters, before they get on the bus, they tell the bus driver's like, "What is it you desire?"
Oh, God.
And Winifred's like, we want children. And he goes, it may take me a few tries, but I can get them for you. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talking about boning, all three of them. And then, there's the whole, throughout the whole movie, there's this big thing about, oh, Max is a virgin. Oh, Max is a virgin. So it's like, wow, for a Disney movie, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's the furthest thing from being Rob Zombie, but I mean, for a Disney movie, it's like, wow, they kind of played with the rating a little bit. But I like that. I like that they did that.
Yeah, and then Thackeray, it's just, he was always there, and I just felt he was the biggest hero in this movie. I mean, any scene with Thackeray, I honestly loved it. I mean, especially since I have to say my least favorite characters are the Sanderson sisters, because again, they're just so fucking annoying. I mean, yeah, it was fine when I was at least 5 or at least 6, but now that I'm watching this years later, it's just, I mean, I get Sarah's supposed to be the ditzy one, Mary's supposed to be the dumb middle child, and then Winifred's supposed to be the big leader, but it's just, this was terrible. Their act, honestly, I re-quote myself, Brett Midler has had way better acts, or way better movie roles.
You better not say Beaches.
I've never seen
Beaches.
Beaches.
Say Beaches, are you? Okay, good, because no, it's a movie, and it's a very well-known chick flick, and anyways, I didn't have really a problem with her performances. They're playing kind of to a campy effect, they're over the top. They're, Bette Midler is known for being like, Broadway, doing musicals and stuff. So that seemed very much in line with her character. Kathy, I think Najimy is her name. She's always kind of played like a comedic character. She was in Sister Act. She did the voice of Peggy Hill on King of the Hill. And then the funniest and most ironic thing is Sarah Jessica Parker playing supposed to be the hot sister, and because she's never, sorry to say this, Matthew Broderick, that's his, that's his wife. I never really thought she was that attractive. So
I have to heavily disagree. I found she was the sexiest fucking witch in that movie, especially her voice when she's singing, which I'm hoping that was her voice, that the siren song, that was amazing, but then as soon as you hear each one of them talk, it's just, I'm gonna use a huge analogy. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Just,
I knew you were gonna go there.
It's just, my God, they are so fucking annoying. I mean, every other character was way better, especially the two dumbass bullies. Which again, I'm going to have to, I'm gonna keep on calling them would-be Bob and Jay and Silent Bob. Which,
if it were not a Disney movie, they would be talking about drugs a lot more often. I mean, I think they talk about cigarettes, but we both know if it were updated or if it was not a Disney film, they'd be talking about, the joints or whatever, the chronic. So it's just kind of, I guess I could kind of see it.
Yet actually, if you notice, I think Ice, the actor, he looks so similar to, like, I think it was Mighty Morphers Power Rangers, whichever one happened in the 90s, that I definitely saw when I was at least 5. He seemed so close to the bully in that movie, or that TV show. And I always found that bully to be kind of annoying. I mean, even the many variations of them in most of the Power Rangers movies, which, again, I've only seen Mighty Morphers and few episodes of the newer one that came on Nickelodeon a couple of years ago. But, again, anyone was better than the Sanders sisters.
Sure. For bullies, they actually had some, funny kind of scenes, they had a good, energy about them. I thought that was funny when they were, shoot. My brain is starting to shut down on me, so never mind. But I like the scenes that they were in. And I don't think we ever see them getting freed from the cage. So technically, we have no guarantees that they survived.
Right, even though I heard there is supposed to be a sequel to Hocus Pocus coming soon. But
yeah, what's taking them so long?
I have to say, there is one scene with those two bullies that I love the most. It's the end credits scene where it's just, they're singing, row your boat, row your boat in loop, or God's, yeah, I think it's called loop. I cannot remember the exact term or musical term, but round. They were doing rounds of row your boat. It was so funny, especially as a kid, and especially as at the age of 18, I find it still funny.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go a little off with the notes. Max starts out. Honestly, I feel Max starts out as a douchebag, basically, like the typical brother that wishes his sister away, like that one Goosebumps episode, the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. But you start to feel bad for him later on in the film. I mean, everyone's picking on him for being a virgin. He gets his shoes stolen. He was forced to move to another town. I mean, despite we notice how much of a jerk he acts, just because his sister loves him so much that she accidentally embarrassed him in front of the other guys in his school, it's just, I started feeling bad for him.
I love that scene where she's like, with the bullies, and she's like, oh yeah, well I just so happen to have my big brother, Max. It's like, oh man, you just got him, you're getting him in trouble. It was just a great scene of like, what a younger sibling would do. Like, it's endearing, like she honestly believes that her brother will protect her, but at the same time, it's like getting him into trouble, like where he can potentially get beaten up. So it's a good scene. I actually, Thora Birch, she was, pretty young in this film, but her character was really well done. She gave a great performance. And since we're speaking of Max, though, man, I'm jealous of his room. Like, how awesome! Even when I was a kid, I was like, man, I wish I had that room. Like, he had this, giant space, and then he had stairs to like a loft. It was like, wow, man, it's like one of the coolest bedrooms I've ever seen.
And then you notice how they basically try and make him seem like the typical 80s, early 90s teenager with all the tie-dye and flowing ball, not bulk, bowl cut hair, and just they basically make fun of him a lot of parts in the movie for being from Los Angeles. Just especially the teacher at the beginning. She's like, "Oh, seems we've got a skeptic in here. So, what is your hippy dippy, free flowing surfer opinion, young Maximilian?"
So, yeah. Had I had time, I'd get a lot deeper on the themes that I noticed in this film, but the kind of Cliff Notes version is, I find it interesting that it took something bad to result in something good. Meaning, Zachary just wanted to save his daughter and to bring an end to the Sandersons. And he protected, he was guarding that house to make sure that they couldn't be brought back. And Max, not thinking, lit the candle. And at the end of the film, you hear Zachary, saying to his sister, "Oh, I had to wait 300 years for a virgin to light that candle." And some people might say, "Oh, well, that sounds different from what he was saying earlier on." But the point I'm trying to get at is, and yeah, maybe I'm getting kind of sentimental on everybody, but sometimes bad things lead us to good things. Sometimes we have to endure heartache. Sometimes we have to endure loss. Sometimes we just have really bad days, but you know what? We have to go through those moments to get to the really sweet and great moments. Like, again, Zachary was a cat for 300 years, and that must have been horrifying. And, he didn't want that candle to be lit, but because it was lit, he eventually died and was able to go live on and reunite with his sister. So, am I kind of making sense, or am I rambling?
You're making a lot of sense. On to the rest of the notes. There's actually something I learned from a fellow channel. He mostly does Disney movies. I believe Disney trivia, some reviews, but mostly trivia videos. And he actually revealed that there was a fourth Sanders sister named Elizabeth that we don't find out about unless, I believe, you read the book. She was kind of an outcast. She lived with the villagers. She was technically there watching as her sisters were being hung, but she didn't die until later on, until someone actually found out she was a witch and made sure to get her family out. And I forget who it is, but they do have a descendant in the movie. But again, most of this came from the book. We also have already mentioned that. I actually noticed the view of Salem from the outside reminds me a little of the cartoon version of Sleepy Hollow. If you look at it from a certain angle, you literally see the clock tower, the church tower, and just the rest of the buildings from a distance look so similar to Sleepy Hollow in the Disney cartoon short. Not short, movie.
Interesting segue, because are we doing Sleepy Hollow, I think, next week, or?
I believe you said we were doing the Johnny Depp version.
We are, yeah. Spoiler, folks. I thought that to kind of, I'm trying to come up with ideas for unconventional slasher films. We all know about Freddy and Jason and Leatherface and Chucky and all those. And we are going to get to the other ones that we haven't gotten to. But I was thinking of movies that fit the scene. And, we did The Guest earlier this week, and it's not really a slasher, but I think it fits because, and I explained in that video why I felt it fit. And when we review Sleepy Hollow next week, I'll explain a little bit how I feel it fits as well. But it's perfect for the season, tonight's Halloween, and it's autumn. It's just the perfect time to review that film.
Right. This movie had a budget of $28 million, box office of $39.5 million.
Oh.
And Leonardo DiCaprio actually almost played Maximilian, but he declined for a different movie known as What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Was that just the domestic box office, or does it mention what it made worldwide, or?
From what I read, it didn't really mention what it made online or through DVD sales. But again, how amazing would it have been if Leonardo DiCaprio played Max in this movie?
That would have been a very different type of film. I don't know the actor's name, but the kid that played Max was famous for a TV show prior to that movie called Erie, Indiana. I only saw a couple episodes. I think it was a little bit before my time, but or it might have been a little bit after. But anyways, when he was a little bit younger, he did a kind of a kids paranormal show called Erie, Indiana. I think it was a little bit kind of like Fear Street, like all these paranormal occurrences happened in his neighborhood and or in his town and stuff like that. So I think that's how he got the role for Max Dennison. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see Leonardo DiCaprio in that role. I think he would have made the character a little bit more serious,
right?
Just because Leonardo DiCaprio is just a very intense, serious actor. I don't really remember him in any comedic roles, really.
I guess. And last but not least, it started out as a movie about a group of 12-year-olds, and it was originally called Disney's Haunted House or Halloween House, but that would have been a whole different movie if it was just 12-year-olds. I mean, they expected it to be more like Mystery Solvers or some shit like that. But
okay.
But I just really can't see it as a movie about 12-year-olds. It just, thank God they changed the characters to two teens and a 7 or 12-year-old, which honestly, it makes it one of the better Disney Halloween movies, but not really the best. I mean, it does have a huge cult following, and it is one of the main movies you really have to watch for Halloween or any time in October. It's just one of those must-watch movies.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's an iconic film, but it's just really, at least for me, the perfect Halloween film. Like, you can watch it with your family. There's some spooky elements, but it's not scary. It's got everything. You got the trick or treater. You got the aesthetic. It takes supposedly. It was filmed in California, but you got the falling leaves and the older buildings. You got that witch's cottage and just great visuals. And you got the trick or treaters. You got the party that the adults went to. I love that singer and that skeleton costume of his with the cobwebs. Like, that was one of the coolest costumes I've seen in any sort of Halloween type of movie. There was great costumes. There's the zombie Billy Butcherson was great. There's just so many little things to it that I think make it a nearly perfect film for this time of year. Whether you're a child or an adult, it's one of those films that is easy to revisit every year because there's so much to enjoy in it. Another film maybe we could get to next year is Beetlejuice, which I think is another great film that's kind of family friendly, but it's one of those movies where it's just you want to revisit it as often as possible. So
right. There was one very awkward scene that I had to. It made me feel very weird, or at least weird for watching it. It just, that scene where you just see the mother out of nowhere, she's at the party, and you just see she's dressed with this very provocative bra, and her daughter is just like, Mom, what are you supposed to be? Well, I'm Madonna. Obviously.
It is really funny because it's really out of place because the dad is Dadula, which is, a cross between Dad and Dracula. So he's a Dracula in pajamas. Everybody else is, wearing a generic outfit like, a mummy or ghost or witch. And then out of the blue, you see the mom with, the cone bra, the blonde hair wig, the headset, and then, I'm Madonna. It's just, so I hear what you're saying. I didn't find it cringy or anything, but it's definitely like coming out of left field. You're not expecting to see the mom dressed up so provocatively. So yeah.
Yeah, and as I mentioned this to Cameron once before, when I went to get a costume or at least find parts to my Michael Myers costume, which again, that will be close to the beginning of the video. You will see a picture of it that I sent Cameron. It's just the whole store, all you could find was like Overwatch or small parts of hero costumes or stuff like that, or so much fucking Fortnite. Like the
you youngsters in that fork knife game of yours.
That's the skins. It's just, I miss the generic kind of Halloween that they show in these movies, which I kind of have to say I've never really seen in the past. Just, I'm done with all these memes. I'm done with all the Fortnite and all that shit. I'm pretty sure even Cameron's way older than me, and I'm pretty sure when he was young, he'd see more of this generic Halloween costumes compared to now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there were more. Yeah, I think generic's the right way. I think the best example is reminds me of Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. They only had 3 masks, and they made it like such a big deal. We have 3 masks, and it's just the skull, the witch, and the pumpkin head. Today, it's like 3 masks. That's it. But yeah, back in the day, I'm not saying I was alive during the early 80s or 70s, but when I grew up in the 90s, it's like, unless you had a really cool mom that would make an awesome costume, you just got like a generic Batman costume or a ghost costume. There wasn't really as many options as there are today. And then you have people that cosplay professionally and things like that. So costuming is like such a bigger deal, I guess, today than it was even when I was a kid. So
Right. And I actually realized while watching this, my mother uses this one phrase a lot right before a full moon. She literally says, "Oh, full moon's out. Weirdos are coming. The weirdos are coming," or something like that. I can't remember who said it in the movie, but it's so. She says something very similar, like something very similar. I mean, she literally says the exact lines from the movie, and
yeah, that Danny says, she goes, "Come on, Max, you gotta come with me because the weirdos will be out."
yet what I mean is, it's it's a full moon. Just that whole big thing with the full moon, and that's the moment when all the weird people come out, all the werewolves, I mean, it's known for werewolves, but a lot of the very weird, awkward, disturbed people come out during a full moon. And she used to talk about how every time a full moon happened, this one woman would show up to her job to get her hair done just by her, and it was always during a full moon. Just, but what would you rate this?
Yes, I've visited this film, quite a few times since I first saw it as a kid. And I seem to fall in love with it each more every time I watch it. Because I'm a ghost, folks can't really see me except for that time when you discovered me in that haunted house. And that started our relationship as movie reviewers. But I actually have a really cool Hocus Pocus shirt that I'll try to take a picture of and include in the review, because it's a picture of the Sanderson sisters, and they look very evil, like it's an adult type of Hocus Pocus shirt. It's really cool. It looks like something for like a heavy metal band. But anyways, to my rating, as I said, I feel like Hocus Pocus is a nearly perfect Halloween film. It has just every little thing that you might want in a movie that you would watch around this time. So for me, and I don't think I give this rating out very often. I think I usually give movies like a 7 or an 8. I usually play it safe. For this film, I'm going to give it a 10. So
I'm going to be clear here. I'm going to give it an 8 because my huge reason is I love the scenery. I love the other characters. I love kind of the story. It's the Sanderson sisters that really turn me off of this movie. It just, every time I see it, I'm pretty sure everyone that watches YouTube once in a lifetime would have seen Shrek, but without Shrek in the movie, or without any scenes of some character. I just wish someone would make a video where it's just every scene except for the scenes with the Sanders sisters. It's just, that would be a 10 for me, but 8 seems better since they just so annoy me so much through the years since I was 5 and first saw this movie. It's just, they are just the worst witches I've ever seen, and a lot of times we've seen the fish out of water or person out of era scene, like, or a movie like Thor, the first movie, or Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where he's basically out of touch with the world, or just
Yeah.
a lot of these movies, and it doesn't work for this. And just, I can't. It just gives me shivers just talking about how terrible they are. So yeah, I'm leaving it at an 8. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be getting to the next review on Tuesday, hopefully by, as we said in our last post, by today, by tomorrow, or, no, not, by around tomorrow or the day after, we will be posting this video, hopefully fully edited, and a lot of great pictures, a lot of great effects, and we hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and put a little notification in, click the little notification bell. Next week we will be doing Sleepy Hollow and a special episode for V for Vendetta, which I'm pretty sure you guys know why we'd be doing it November 5th. If so, please comment your idea or your hypothesis or theory for why we would be doing V for Vendetta on November 5th. And just keep checking us out. You guys are a huge help to our views and to just getting us out there. We love making these videos, and we love to at least share our opinions with a lot of people who haven't really seen these kinds of opinions before. So, Cameron, any final words?
Absolutely. I got some words of advice from a 8-year-old girl, and I think it could apply to all of us that are looking for the special somebody. If you meet the girl of your dreams, take her to the movies like a normal person.
So true. And please, don't light any black candles in a witch's house on Halloween during a full moon while you're still a virgin. Because we all know we don't need more Sanderson sisters. So, good night, goodbye, and this movie has been saved and preserved by the film Exorcist and the Demented Ghost. Good night, goodbye, and have a happy Halloween and a wonderful All Saints Day. Good night, goodbye, and Avida say.